Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophie. I also go by Soph and I'm known as Soph here on FlossTube and Instagram and most recently on TikTok as well. If you don't follow me on those and would like to, just give me a follow. It would be greatly appreciated. So this is my channel where I talk all about cross stitch, which is my favourite hobby. It helps me with my anxiety, just helps me chill out and relax, and it's something I do every day for fun. So I've got a lot to show you. It's been a little while since I actually posted anything, Instagram and on YouTube if I'm honest. I think it's been over a month since I last talked to you all. I have an excuse. I have gone from being part-time to being full-time. I absolutely love my new job and I'm really thankful I've got it, but it does mean there's less time for me to stitch and less time for me to do floss tubes, etc. But I am squeezing in time where I can, and don't worry, it is something that I am still passionate about, so I will be posting going forward. There's a few things I'll cover today, so I'm just going to go through a finish, a new start, all of my whips that I've been working on, some haul. I'll briefly talk about the first ever stitchy day that I went on in Bristol, and what else? What else was I going to talk about? I've got some films, TV and some book talk at the end as well, so stick around for that if you want to. There was another thing I wanted to discuss as well. So last time, on my last video, I did do a competition and I will be announcing the winner on this video as well, so stay tuned. If you did enter that competition, I will be announcing that winner. Exciting stuff. So let's get started. I am a little bit rusty and I'm a little bit tired, but I think together we will get there. And then once I'm finished, I am going to the cinema to see The Nun 2 and I'm really excited. I've had a lovely day so far. It's been very autumnal. I've had a pumpkin spice latte in my local park, taken my dog for a walk, done some stitchy things, and now I'm filming this. So I am looking forward to the cinema later as well. So let's get started, let's get on to what you're actually here for. So the first thing I wanted to show you is my finish. Now I can't really show you this finish in the flesh because I don't have it anymore. I had to give this to the person I stitched it for last week, which was my cousin. She commissioned it from me for a birthday piece for her mother-in-law, I believe. So this is the second time that I've stitched it. It is Seaside by Stitchrovia / Emma Condon. This is where it was last time I showed you, and then this is the finish. So I've stitched this, I think I just said this is the second time I've stitched it. Wasn't too enthused about stitching it for a second time because I do like novelty, but I really enjoyed it. It's only 3 DMC and it stitches up really well. It's quite a simple one to take around with you because you don't have to carry much. One thing I did change on this one is the K and the E on the original pattern is smaller than the L and the I, and I didn't particularly like that the first time I stitched it, but I stitched it to the pattern because I like following rules. But the second time I was like, I'm going to be a bit brave and I'm going to change the K and the E. So it took me a little while to chart it and to get it proper and to make it look nice in my brain, but I managed it in the end and I think it does add something different to it. And because I've used the same fabric on both, I just wanted something that differentiated the two. So that is my finish there. So this was stitched on 14 count Boardwalk Aida, purchased from Sew It All, and I started on the 19th of July and I finished on the 2nd of September. So the first time I stitched it, I believe it took me like 71 hours. This took me 68 hours, so I feel like that's my best time. You know, if you like running, I did it a second time and I beat my best time, so that's all you can ask for really, isn't it? So, oh god, I've lost it already. Yeah, so that is my only finish. As I said, stitchy hours have been radically reduced, but I'm still enjoying myself, so that's all that matters. Talking of radically reducing stitchy time, I did a thing. I have started my first ever Heaven and Earth designs. So this is the pattern I've decided to start here. This is Comforts of Home by Terry Redlin. Now, I've wanted to start a Heaven and Earth designs for a long time. Now, I like cats, but I'm more of a dog person, and a lot of them seem to be cats, and I was just trawling through trying to find one that I would enjoy stitching and then put on the wall afterwards, because it's a long ass time to actually stitch something and not want to put it on the wall. And I found this one and I absolutely fell in love with it. So here is my first ever start on a Heaven and Earth full coverage design. And it is the teeniest, tiniest corner ever, but I am in love with it. So this is stitched on 25 count easy grid and even weave. I have decided to kit up with CXC threads because I don't want to remortgage my house. If I use DMC, I probably would have to. And I'm really liking the coverage of CXC. Now, I did struggle. I don't know if you can see in the top 2 towers here, I stitched 2/1, and that's what the pattern called for. And I put it on Facebook and people were like, oh, that's going to be quite tight. I'd suggest stitching it in other ways. And just because I'm stubborn, I powered through. I was like, this is what it's called for. This is what the pattern says. I'm doing the right thing. And I just kept going and got to the second tower and I was struggling, and I thought, right, I'm going to take their advice. I tried it 1/1 full cross. So I was doing, 2/2 full cross on the 25 count. And then I decided to do 1/1 full cross. And I just didn't like the coverage. It just didn't do it for me. There was too much white. So I spoke to my stitchy friend Tan. I'm going to put this down because my arm's aching. I spoke to my stitchy friend Tan, and she said try 2/1 tent stitch, but railroad it. And I was like, right, I've only just learned Royal Rows and dungeons and towers and parking. What the hell is a railroad? So she taught me. So it's just when you get the stitches, rather than when you're doing a tent stitch, to lie like this, to make them lie like that, so they do a fuller coverage, and that seems to be working for me. Yeah, that's what I've been doing all the way down here and here as well. Now this is a grand total of 0.7% complete. Go figure. I think I'm going to be stitching this for 10 years, but honestly, I absolutely love this. I didn't think I would. I didn't think I would enjoy doing full coverage, but it's a completely different way of stitching. The same as when I picked up blackwork, it feels like you're picking up a new hobby. So I recommend anyone to try it. Research Royal Rows before you start. Make sure to prep your fabric. If you've got any questions, I'll try and help. I am very new. I did ask most of my questions to Tan. But if you are like a Heaven and Earth stitcher and you've got any tips for me, please let me know below. Or just let me know what you're stitching on so I can have a nose, because I like seeing all the different ones. So that is my only new start for this month, and to be fair, because it's so big, I think that's acceptable, it being the only new start. And to be honest, I did get quite carried away. I've stitched this most nights, so I haven't got a lot of progress on some of my whips, but I will show you my other whips. Not all of them, because some have been neglected for obvious reasons, but I've got a few that I will show you. So I promised myself before I even started the Heaven and Earth designs or Comforts of Home that I would put some work into this piece. So this is my Freddie Mercury / Queen pattern. So this is what it'll look like complete. This is what it looked like last time I showed you. And this is where we are with it now. So I've got quite a bit done. I think I was just about starting this green here, so there was a full line going across there, and I haven't done 2 full pages just yet, just because that block colouring just tired me out, And I got to the leg and it was a bit more fun, and then I just thought, no, I'm starting that other pattern. But I did do quite a huge chunk on it. So this is by Unique Stitch Crafts. I started this on the 13th of April 2023. It is stitched on 18 count white Aida by Luca S, and it's with all the called for DMC, and it's 42.8% complete. And I just realised how dirty he is. He's a dirty boy. That'll come out hopefully when I wash it, but because it's full coverage, it's not going to be a huge issue because that'll just be what's in frame, not the dirty white over there. So that is my first whip. My second whip I want to show you is Mourning Tree by Night Spirit Studio. So this is what it'll look like finished. This is what it looked like the last time I showed you, and if I'm completely honest, I only picked it up last night and did a little bit of stitching, so there's only a little bit of difference in the from the last time I showed you. And this is where I am. So all I stitched last night was just this bit here, but I just thought it is October now and I need to get into my spooky stitching, and this is my only spooky whip at the moment. So I picked this up, started stitching it, and I really enjoyed it actually, so I'm going to be doing that tonight if I've got time after the cinema. If not, I'll be stitching it a little bit this week. But I'm aiming to get this finished this month, just because it's only a small one and it is quite a satisfying finish. So that is what I'm looking to do. This one I started on the 18th of August 2023. It's on 18 count black Aida, and it's stitched with the called for DMC, and it's stitched 2/1. And I really like that. And the back stitch, I usually don't particularly like back stitch, but that kind of, the skull looks really cute with the back stitch, and the urn as well it just adds that little bit extra to it, and it wasn't too much back stitch. I think there's a little bit more, but not too much. That is one of my favourites at the moment, so I will be picking that one up again. I'm loving it. I love the colours and the contrast. It just adds something. What one shall I show you next? So this pattern, I'm not going to show you what it looked like last time or what it will look like finished, because it is a Sal. It's released every month on the 14th, and I won't go into too much detail because if you've watched my other videos, I've already explained it to you. It's a vintage cabinet with bottles in it, and each bottle holds a country, and it's released every month. So I've finally caught up on this one. So this was released on the 14th of September, and I only stitched it 2 days ago. And the reason I only stitched it 2 days ago is because there was an option between Tallinn in Estonia and Athens, and I really couldn't decide because both of them were absolutely beautiful. And when I was at the Bristol Stitchy Day, I spoke to my table and they voted for Athens, and I just thought, well, that's my decision made. I'm going to stitch that. So it's come out really lovely. I love the flag, and yeah, the black work on it is beautiful. Still, I think my favourite is Tokyo, but let me know what you think about it. I finally actually prepared the fabric on the sides because it was fraying a little bit, and I was worried that it wouldn't have enough to frame at the end, so I've done that now. And yeah, we've only got 4 more bottles that are going to be released, so I think it finishes just before my birthday in January. So I might start a new Sal for my birthday. Yeah, so that is that. I know that it's something the Rosie X Stitches is looking to stitch now. She has kitted up for it, got the fabric, etc. And she's looking forward to starting that one, and I can't wait to see her progress on it. And I know there was a few other people on my table that said they might try and start it. So yeah, that's really exciting. So it's called the Wanderer Sal, and it's by Quarter Neon Creations. I'm stitching this on 16 count beige Aida, and most of the called for DMC, but I've just substituted other DMCs where I don't have it in stash, just because I like to stitch it as soon as they come out. So that is that one. The only other whip that I've been working on is Pink and Sun Landscape by Crystal Feather Crafts. This is what it looks like complete. this is what it looked like last time I showed you, and this is my progress. It's very little progress if I'm completely honest, but progress nonetheless. This I started on the 21st of August 21. I started this on the 21st of August 2023, and it's stitched on 28 count white even weave 2/2 in CXC thread, and I am 17% complete, so I'm nowhere near really, but put a few stitches in on that. Haven't really touched it because of the heaven and earth designs, but yeah, I will dabble in and out with it and we will see where we get. Again, it's another one. I do this with patterns. I tend to go or get drawn to pictures from patterns from Etsy that look absolutely great finished, but they're such block colours that the overall finish is lovely, but stitching it is a bit boring. So I do think I need to branch out and go to samplers and Quakers and things like that, where it's more fun to stitch, like the black work pattern is and the heaven and earth designs. I find that when it's block colours like this one and the queen one, and also the Mourning Tree, it can get a bit tedious when you're stitching a lot of it. I think the Mourning Tree not so much, but when they're big pieces of block colour, I get a little bit bored. So I think I need to always have a little bit of different whips on the go, and at the moment I feel like I've got 3 that are completely block colour. But they will look great when they're done, and stitching is stitching at the end of the day, isn't it? So yeah, that is that one. So that's all of my whips. I do have my Carolyn Manning whip that I have not touched. I took it to the retreat thinking, oh, it's a great one to stitch when I'm around people because it's block colour again, but it's small bits of block colour, so it's less tedious. And I just didn't touch it. It is something I aim to do and bring out in October, but I think like spooky season it's not very spooky. It is #Man in May Sal, so maybe I'll just wait until May, but we'll see, because I'm not a big Christmas stitcher. Maybe I'll pop it out then and get around to that, but it's not something I'm gonna give up on because I absolutely love it. It's just something that's taken a back seat for now, but I'm getting used to having this many whips. And I do feel bad when I leave some out. I feel like they're just calling to me saying, please stitch on me. But, you know, they're not. And I can stitch on whatever I want, when I want to. It's my hobby at the end of the day. So I'm trying not to give myself too much of a hard time and just enjoy it. So the Bristol Stitchy Day I went to on Saturday was absolutely lovely. It was my first ever stitchy day that I've been involved in, or like a stitchy retreat. And I had so much fun. My brain was fried when I got home, and I actually dreamed about cross stitch in the evening as well, or in the night, which was mad. I was just thinking about what patterns I've bought and what fabrics it can go on, and you know that your hobby has gone to another level when you dream about it. So that was fun. Met loads of lovely people there, met friends that I've had for a little while due to stitching. So there was lots of FlossTubers that I recognised from around the room. On my table, Rosie X Stitches, who I mentioned earlier, and the monogamous stitcher Tan, who I mentioned earlier as well, were there. A lovely girl called Scarlett, a lady called Tina, and then Rosie's mum, which was really lovely. There were some other FlossTubers around the room that I recognised and got to meet. And yeah, it was just such a lovely day. There were some lovely people that I connected with and hopefully will be meeting in the future. So yeah, all around positive day. I really enjoyed it. I did do a lot of shopping while I was there, so I'm just going to go through what I got there and then anything else that I've bought over the last month. Actually, first what I'm going to do is show you, because I was supposed to show you this last month. It was some haul that I got when I was on holiday, and I completely forgot to put in my film last month. So in my film, who do I think I am? Wes Anderson. So when I was camping back in the summer, me and Johnny went to Norfolk, and when we went to Norfolk, we went to a place called Cromer, and we went there because we wanted to eat Cromer crab, which was absolutely fantastic. really good food. And when we were wandering back along the beach and then walked up some steps, we come across this lovely shop. So this is the little card, and it's called Gallery 10, and it was like a little craft room. And I wasn't planning on buying any cross stitch while I was there, or any craft related things really. I was just gonna spend my holiday money on food. But I walked in, and most places you walk into, there's a little bit of embroidery and then hardly any cross stitch, but this place was covered in cross stitch, black work, you name it, it was there. It just wanted my money. The lovely lady in there was really helpful, and she showed me around some cross stitch things. They were mostly kits. I was a bit disappointed there wasn't just like fabric and, you know, patterns on their own, but I did treat myself to some kits. So the first one I bought wasn't actually a cross stitch. I don't know if you can see it. So it is this little patchwork. So it's called a Slow Stitch mini kit, and it's by Raven Glass Craft. So inside you've got a fabric cottage, 6 inches of square backing canvas, 4 printed fabrics, lace and ribbon, embroidery thread, embroidery needle, hand printed lettering, embellishments and tip sheet. And you just create your version. You can just create it whichever way you want. It's like a little tile. So I thought that was absolutely lovely. So I'm going to be trying that one. We're looking to go away at Christmas, so I think that would be a really nice Christmassy one to stitch. So yeah, that was £16 for that little kit, and it was very sweet. Inside it's got like a little bag with all buttons and threads and things like that in there, and then the fabric is really nicely wrapped in this paper here. So I've only opened the box, but I've not really looked at the stuff, and I think I'm going to do that, like I said, at Christmas and get creative. But yeah, that was a lovely little find. The next one is called Heart of Summer, and this is by Little Dove Designs, and it's a cross stitch kit, and I fell in love with it. So because I was camping and we were near a lighthouse, I just saw that and thought this is going to remind me of this holiday. We were in a van, but there's a little tent there, and there's the lighthouse, and we were by the sea. And when we were in Cromer, we were by the sea, so there was these little huts and just rose here, and that little blue house was absolutely stunning. So I think that will remind me of that holiday when I decide to stitch it. I'm not sure when I will stitch it, but I absolutely love it. And again, it came with lovely thread count, or thread. It came with a lovely thread minder, really nice sage green, and then it's got the book and the pattern there. Really looking forward to stitching that. If you're ever in Cromer, if you live in the area, go check it out. I definitely recommend. There were so many other patterns that I wanted to buy when I was there. They had really big black work patterns. They were like £40. That one was 26. So I spent quite a lot on 2 little kits, but I treated myself. I was on holiday. You know the drill. I've gone a little bit crazy with needle minders. So I've got this little needle minder by Botanical Craft Studio, and obviously Stitchy Season. She is absolutely beautiful. I love her. The only problem is it's not the most powerful magnet from the front. It does hold it, but it's not very strong. But from the back, very strong. So I've been using it from the back and then just admiring the little ghost on the front. But absolutely love it. Very cute. Just a shame it's not that powerful. The next thing I bought is a Snag Nabbit tool for my full coverage. Never used one before, but it comes in handy to pull the threads through when you finish with them. And that's been sitting on my pattern since I started it. Also, to go on my Heaven and Earth designs, I bought these bobbins just to hold the part threads, and they work really well. Whoop. They work really well. So you just pop them out, wrap your threads around, and then pop them back, and then they just sit on your fabric like this, and they just keep all these bits tied away so when you're stitching they don't bother you too much. I bought this needle minder from Morty and the Brom at the Saturday Stitchy Retreat. So this is for the Witchy Stitcher, and it says, it's upside down, so it says DMC 310 cult member. So again, this one's quite good, but it's better magnet at the back rather than at the front, but I bought it for the Witchy Stitcher, and just because it's got a pentagon on there and it's pretty cool. So there's that one. I bought 2 other needle minders as well from Jess Get Stitching on Saturday. So there's this lovely clay pink circle. I used to have hair this colour and it's one of my favourite colours, so I decided to get that one, and I bought this little cactus as well. So these are great needle minders. I can't wait to put them on some of my pieces, but I definitely want to get like a metal wall hanging so I can put all my needle minders up and just have them on display as little pieces of art, and then when I'm ready to choose a new one for my new design, they'll all be up there. What else did I buy? So I bought 3 pieces of fabric from Coffee Craft Fabric, so Megan, on Saturday at the Stitchy Retreat. I was sat near her table and the fabric was piled so high. I was eyeing it up all day. I was trying to figure out what fabric I wanted, and in the end I just thought, I need some fabric, I'm just going to buy whatever appeals to me. So I was in a pink mood on Saturday. I bought this 25 count fabric in like a pink, light pink rose colour, the mottled, and that is 14 inches by 17 inches. So I got that one, which I absolutely love. No pattern in mind, I just thought I need that fabric. I haven't seen anything like that online, so I bought that one. I then bought this rose pink fabric. So this is just plain rose pink, and this is 40 count. I've never stitched anything higher than like 32, I don't think. But this is 40 count and it's 18 inches by 25.5, and I just absolutely love the colour on that. I was potentially thinking of stitching a pattern on this one, which will come up in my plans, so I'll come back to that in a little bit, rather than me going off topic, which I usually do. And then the third piece of fabric I got was a 20 count fabric, and this is in like a blue. It almost looks like when you look at a light and then you close your eyes, it looks like the lines in your eyeballs, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's 20 count and it's 13 inches by 17.5 inches, and then that's it on the other side. But I just really liked this pattern. Again, don't know why I want to stitch on it, but I really liked it. So thank you so much for your fabrics. I fell in love with them. Definitely will be buying more. And yeah, what else did I buy? Patterns. I bought 2 patterns. So there was another table and it was Marnie's mixed bag. So she had lots of fancy flosses, lots of DMC things like charts and things like that, and she had lots of patterns, and I spent ages flicking through all the patterns and I came across these 2 that I fell in love with. So we've got the Long Dog sampler, and this is called the Pilgrim, and I fell in love with it because of this dude up here, so this crow, and there's like a flamingo on there, and this this horse with the stars in it, the frog, and it says on there, "Dare to dream, the completion of my labours leaves me with a joyful heart." And I just thought that's so fitting for cross stitch. But I absolutely love this one. I think what I will do with this one, rather than stitching it on white, I will look to stitch it on like a dark green blue sea colour. I've got it in my head. But yeah, not with like 310, maybe with like a browny blacky colour instead, so it's not so harsh. But I absolutely love that pattern, and it's huge. It's 305 stitches by 367 stitches, so I don't know what it is with me at the moment, but I seem to want to stitch big pieces. The next one, I've seen a few people stitch this one. I think a lot of people have like stitched the squirrel, but I absolutely love beavers. And this is from Cottage Garden Samplings, and this is A Year in the Woods number 11, and it's the beaver. and I just think he is super cool and he's got such a big booty and I love him. I can't wait to stitch this guy. I don't know when I'm going to stitch him, but I like him a lot. So yeah, it is very like autumnal, so I feel like maybe I should do it soon and add another one to my whip count potentially, but he is awesome. So that's that one. That is everything when it comes to haul. Now I think it's about time that I spoke about the competition winner. So thank you everyone who has entered my competition last month. For those of you who didn't watch the video or can't remember, I did a draw for people to win this lovely pattern by Willow Creek Stitch Company. I did a random comment selector. So anyone who put the word autumn into their comment was entered into the draw, and drum roll please. So this is the winner of the competition. Congratulations. I will tag you down below. If you can get in contact with me, my email will be on the comment and I can send you across that email, and happy stitching. So thank you very much for entering. So I've already mentioned a few people on my channel today, and that's probably the way I'll do it rather than a list. There is a list of people that I could go through that I want to mention that I've been talking to. I've had so many lovely conversations with lots of people this month about stitching. But one person I've been chatting to quite a lot, and that's Nichols. We've been speaking on Instagram and she's been commenting on my FlossTube since the beginning. She's so lovely, up in Scotland. Hello, fellow Celt. We've been talking about potentially starting a stitch along. We were both talking about modern folk embroidery and how much we love all of their stuff. And I saw this pattern, which is called Modern Folk Embroidery, the Hound and the Hare. And I fell in love with it because I've got a whippet. I thought it would be the perfect pattern for me to stitch from them. There's so many others that I love, but this one just spoke to me. So we're thinking about doing a stitch along. If any of you are interested in joining us, you can stitch whatever modern folk embroidery you want to, or you can join us. I say join us, Diana, I'm not sure what one you want to stitch yet, and we haven't put a date in place yet either, so this is just plans. We will announce it if and when we decide to go ahead, but we have been talking about it. I still need to buy the pattern, blah 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 blah. But if anyone else is interested in a Sal, please comment below, get in contact with me on Instagram, or just send me an email and we can get together in a little group and maybe think about a hashtag together, and just see what everyone wants to stitch on, if they want to stitch on the same one, and we can get a little hashtag together. So let me know. What I was thinking of doing it on, the Hare and the Hound, was this lovely pink colour with a dark pink thread, so like a monochrome sort of vibe. I will have to buy a few pinks just to see which ones will look the best on this colour, and if it is feasible. I don't want it to wash it out, but I've got this image in my head. I think Cam the Stitcher did something similar where she did like a pink monochrome, and it's just something I really want to try, so that is what I'm thinking of. And I'm thinking about doing it on the 40 count 2/2. Might kill my eyes, might need new glasses and a new prescription by December, but we'll see. But yeah, if anyone's interested, that is something that is in the works with us two, and if anyone else who wants to join. My other plans are just to continue stitching on the Heaven and Earth designs and see how far I can get with that for the month. I'd like to just put stitches in each of my whips. I'm not aiming on finishes, although I did say I wanted to finish the Mourning Tree earlier on. Potentially I can finish that during October. I would like a finish, so I'll probably focus on one of my smaller ones and go from there. The Heaven and Earth one will probably take priority, but I'm just going to stitch on what I feel like stitching each day. So that is everything I've got for stitching, I believe. I've probably forgotten something and I'll just have to mention it on the next video. Don't know about my schedule going forward. I'm just going to do my videos as and when I can. It would be nice to do more often, and then I wouldn't have to sit for like an hour and talk about it. Maybe that be beneficial in the long run, but we will see. So for all of you who are just here for my stitching related things, thank you so much for joining me. You're welcome to go, chill out, rest after me talking to you for God knows how long. So bye bye, see you soon. And if you guys want to stick around, I'm just going to talk about a few things that I've been watching, reading, watching and reading. So film wise, I've been watching quite a few films recently. So I rewatched Submarine, which is a Welsh film. So this is Submarine. It's really funny. It's like a coming of age movie. I absolutely love it because it's nice to hear Welsh accents on TV. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. It's got the Arctic Monkeys did the soundtrack to it, so it's a very good soundtrack. I got Johnny to watch it for the first time because he'd never seen it, and I just like watching my people. So yeah, definitely give that a watch. I really enjoyed it, watching it again and seeing it through someone else's eyes. The next film that I watched was The Martian, up here. So I don't know why I've put this off for so long. I love Matt Damon, and I think I've got a love-hate relationship with Matt Damon. Like, I love Good Will Hunting, but there's a few films over the years that I've just thought I don't really particularly want to watch it because he's in it, and I don't know why. He's great, really. I think I'm just a bit odd. But The Martian, I put it off, and we watched it the other day, and it was fantastic. Bit cheesy in places, but you need one of those movies every now and then. So yeah, definitely enjoyed watching that one. And then Johnny played Starfield afterwards, so it felt like a very space day. Probably won't watch it again, but I'm glad I watched it, and I can see why people rave about it. So the other film that I watched is this one. It's called Women Talking. I think it was released last year. There's so many famous people in there. Frances McDormand in it. It's got Rooney Mara and the woman who played the Queen in The Crown. One of the women who played the Queen in The Crown. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a very tough subject matter, but the acting is fantastic, the filming, yeah, I absolutely loved it. Definitely recommend. I would look at the trailer and the subject matter and just make sure it's not something that would be triggering to you, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a very powerful movie. I felt very very feminist vibes. It's about women in a cult, and something happens to them and they decide not to stay in the cult. They're trying to decide whether they leave or stay, and it's just all about their struggles with that because they might have to leave their sons behind and etc. So definitely worth a watch, but give the trailer a look first. That was on Prime TV and I absolutely loved it. The only other thing I've really been watching is The Morning Show. So season 3, I believe, is back. So I've been watching that as it's being released, and I'm absolutely loving it. And yeah, it's dark in places, but it always has been since the beginning, I think. But it's a very good show. I'm really enjoying it. So I can't wait for the next episode. It's something that I usually binge watch, but I'm just watching it as it comes out, so it's hard for me just to watch the one and then not be able to watch the next one. But it's a good lesson in restraint, I suppose. But I'm not being restrained because I'm being limited. So the only other thing I wanted to talk about is books. So I'm reading this book at the moment, which is called The Grace Year. I started reading it on Marjorie Maid's recommendation. So what drew me to it is the fact that it was, if you like Handmaid's Tale, you'll like this book. And so far, I'm loving it. It started to get a little bit cheesy in the sense that I think there's going to be a bit of a cheesy romance involved, which I know there was a bit of a romance in Handmaid's Tale, or it was alluded to in the book at least. But this one, I really hope it's not like a really cheesy young adult romance, because I wasn't in the mood for that sort of book. Like, I do read those books, and don't get me wrong, if I know what I'm setting out for, I enjoy it, but we'll see. It's only got to that point now. I'm still enjoying it. I will still read it, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But I am very much enjoying that at the moment. I've had a little hiatus when it comes to reading. I got a bit stuck when I come back off holiday because I read lots. and I just threw myself back into stitching. So that's the only thing I've been reading. I'll let you know. Hopefully I'll finish it by the next time we speak, because it is on loan from the library, so I kind of have to finish it by then, by the 10th. So yeah, I will let you know what happens with that one. But that's everything from me today, guys. It's been a long one. It'll probably be edited down, and even though this was filmed on the 3rd of October, probably won't get out until like 5 days later, just because of work and editing. I'll try and edit this on the weekend and get it out to you. Thank you so much for bearing with me and still watching, and yeah, I will catch you all next time. Happy stitching, take care, bye.